The Biggest Loser, Reality TV's biggest scam. What if I told you there was once a hit TV show where contestants were forced to burn 6,000 calories a day, eat less than a rabbit, puke on camera, and occasionally land in the hospital and the audience at home applauded like it was the Super Bowl? No, it's not Squid Game. It is The Biggest Loser, America's favorite health show that turned out to be less about health and more about public humiliation in spandex. On paper, The Biggest Loser sounded inspiring. Everyday people battling obesity, guided by trainers, transforming their lives. In practice, it was a gladiator pit disguised as a gym. Trainers screamed, "Unless you puke, faint, or die, keep working." Contestants starved themselves on 800 calories while running marathons with bodies that had never trained for it. This wasn't fitness, it was punishment with a laugh track. And the challenges, the challenges. Imagine being desperately hungry and producers say, "Great news, you can see your family." But only if you gorge on pizza and candy in front of us first. That's not health. That's emotional blackmail with extra cheese. Then there were humiliation games like carrying food with your teeth. Doctors call it psychologically damaging. NBC called it primetime entertainment. Of course, the weigh-ins were the crown jewel. Flashing lights, giant scales, cheering audiences. It was less health check and more Price is Right. But with dehydration, contestants cried, fainted, and sometimes collapsed. America cheered, because apparently nothing says family entertainment like watching someone nearly die on a treadmill. And the long-term results, brutal. Most contestants gained the weight back. Many ended up heavier. And studies showed their metabolisms slowed down permanently. Basically, the only thing that shrank long-term was their trust in wellness programs. Turns out you can't torture people into sustainable health. Who could have guessed? Answer: literally every doctor ever. What makes this worse is the producer's excuse years later. Well, we were just making entertaining TV, right? And medieval torture chambers were just early pilot episodes of Fear Factor. There is a difference between motivation and exploitation, and The Biggest Loser blurred that line so hard it should come with a trigger warning. So here's the verdict. As television, The Biggest Loser was gripping. As health advice, it was a disaster. And as a moral experiment, it showed just how far networks and audiences are willing to go to turn suffering into entertainment. But before we go further, make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our future videos. We've got plenty more where this came from. The Biggest Loser, a weighty legacy of shame and secondhand embarrassment in the annals of reality TV. Few shows managed to capture the zeitgeist quite like The Biggest Loser. Premiering in 2004, it was a cultural touchstone, a guilty pleasure, and for some, an unsettling exploration of how far we're willing to go for that perfect body. The premise was simple. Overweight Americans would enter a ranch in California, slog through boot camp-style workouts, and hopefully shed pounds under the watchful eyes of trainers. But what truly made the show tick was the weekly weigh-in. Each contestant would step onto a massive scale, bathed in the harsh glare of studio lights, as a crowd roared, jeered, and sometimes burst into applause. The cheers were for hitting milestones, the jeers often less so. For those who didn't lose enough weight, they faced the wrath of the crowd, the disappointment of the trainers, and the crushing blow to their own self-esteem. The Biggest Loser was, at its core, a show about shame. It thrived on making its contestants squirm, on humiliating them until they either lost weight or broke. And somehow it held up a mirror to society, reflecting our obsession with weight loss, with fat shaming, and with televised agony. It was as if we were all gathered around a digital town square, watching, judging, and gasping. I can't believe they let someone eat that much pizza without repercussions. The Biggest Loser wasn't just a show. It was a spectacle. It was a circus, a freak show, and a pep rally all rolled into one. The question is, why did we love to hate it? And why did it last for 17 seasons? The Biggest Loser, a show about more than just weight loss. At its peak, The Biggest Loser drew in over 8 million viewers per episode, making it one of the most popular shows on television. But what made it so compelling? And what made us tune in week after week to watch strangers cry on a scale? For some, it was the train wrecks. The show had no shortage of contestants who seemed determined to sabotage themselves, whether by gorging on junk food, skipping workouts, or just generally making terrible decisions. Watching their struggles was both fascinating and cringeworthy, like peering into a car crash in slow motion. Then there were the transformations. Some contestants arrived on the show morbidly obese, barely able to move or even breathe comfortably. Their progress, even if slow, was often remarkable, not just in terms of weight loss, but in terms of health and mobility. Seeing these transformations was uplifting, inspiring, and occasionally heartbreaking, like witnessing someone shedding not just pounds, but years off their body and life. The Biggest Loser also tapped into our fascination with humiliation. From the infamous Pie for Pounds challenge where contestants had to cover themselves in cake and whipped cream to the relentless mockery of the trainers, the show never shied away from humiliation as a motivator. Watching others squirm, stumble, and sweat under the hot sun of California's Santa Monica Mountains was strangely satisfying, like watching someone else experience the awkwardness we've all felt trying to fit into a too tight dress or a pair of jeans. At its heart, though, The Biggest Loser was a morality tale. It reinforced the idea that fat people are lazy and healthy, and in need of a swift kick in the pants. It was a comforting narrative for a society that loves to blame individuals for their weight rather than addressing systemic issues like access to healthy food or safe spaces to exercise. In a world where willpower is celebrated and excuses are vilified, The Biggest Loser offered a platform for those who struggled with weight to be judged, pitied, and ultimately shamed. It was a reflection of our culture's obsession with thinness, and it was a spectacle we couldn't look away from. The Biggest Loser. Where are they now in the years since The Biggest Loser wrapped its final season? Many have wondered what became of the show's participants. Where are they now? How much weight have they lost or gained back? And what are they doing with their lives? Unfortunately, the stories of many of the show's former contestants are less triumphant and more tragic. Many have openly discussed the negative effects of the show, including disordered eating, addiction, and body dysmorphia. Others have been more candid about their struggles, talking about how the intense pressure to lose weight led to unhealthy habits and dangerous behaviors. Despite these challenges, some contestants have managed to maintain their weight loss and even become advocates for healthy living, sharing their stories and encouraging others to pursue lifestyle changes in a healthier way. However, the lasting impact of the show's extreme weight loss methods and toxic environment has left many questioning the true cost of fame and fortune. The Biggest Loser may have ended, but the struggles of its contestants live on. The Biggest Loser, extreme weight loss and its consequences. When it comes to weight loss, most people aim to shed a few pounds or reshape their physique. But imagine losing over 10% of your body weight in just a few weeks. It sounds impressive, but it's also incredibly extreme. And that's exactly what happened to the contestants on The Biggest Loser, a show that pushed its participants to lose weight at all costs. But what are the consequences of such rapid weight loss? According to experts, losing weight too quickly can lead to a host of health problems, from nutrient deficiencies to muscle loss to a slower metabolism. In fact, studies have shown that people who lose weight very fast are more likely to gain it back, sometimes even with interest. So why did the contestants continue to push themselves to the limit? Well, some were desperate to improve their health. Others saw the show as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to transform their lives. And let's be real, the prize money was pretty enticing. But in the end, the extreme weight loss took its toll on many of the contestants. Some developed eating disorders, others became addicted to diet pills or alcohol, and still, others suffered from depression and anxiety. The moral of the story: quick fixes don't work. Sustainable weight loss takes time and effort. And the only way to keep the weight off is to make gradual changes to your lifestyle. The Biggest Loser may have been a ratings hit, but it also left many viewers wondering, Is any transformation worth the cost? That's all for today, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share for more informative content. See you next time.